Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio NBA Pub Hub, Thursday, October 28th. Ian Cameron, Dutch Boy, Fresh Trot Wham, with you today on this Thursday edition. We're short-handed today. You know, we're kind of like some of these NBA teams. We're playing one player short, but that's okay. We'll still sometimes, you know what we say, with that one key player out, you pull up the bootstraps and you play a little bit harder, you play a little bit better, and you still win. That's what we're going to do. Without one player, work harder, work better, be a little bit more efficient, do a little bit more, and win. And that's what we're going to win on this Thursday NBA card. We got 6 games. Let's start with Detroit and Philly. Sixers 10.5-point home favorites, 212, 213. The total in this game, total been bet down as well from 217.5 to 212 going into this one. We got more nonsense here with Embiid, of course. What else is new? Questionable, it seems, every single game. You'd think he's going to play, though, because you just expect that, even though he's on the injury report every day. Detroit 0-3, and also Detroit shorthanded tonight. Jeremy Grant didn't play against Atlanta the other night. They ended up losing that game by double digits, and he's doubtful tonight, the last I checked. Now, some sites have a game-time decision, some have out, so I'm not really expecting Grant. You would probably think that Kelly Olynyk is going to take his spot in the starting 5 because that's what happened the other night. And if Grant doesn't play, that actually has me looking maybe at Olynyk, points and rebounds, or over points and rebounds, because he did play pretty solidly against Atlanta in the absence of Grant the other night. He had 21 points. He had 6 rebounds. He was active. He was impactful on the game, even though they lost 122 to 104. So that's definitely something that stands out, maybe, is looking at Olynyk props in this game tonight if Grant doesn't play. It certainly looks like he isn't. It's a tricky game, but with the Sixers coming off the loss to the Knicks 112 to 99. I usually like going against Philly when they're double-digit chalk, but Detroit got bombed by Atlanta. They're going on the road again. Philly may not look past them here after the loss to the Knicks the other night. And the last time the Sixers lost a game to Brooklyn, they bounced back, win and cover at Oklahoma City, 115 to 103. They won that game by 12. So I lean Detroit initially, but too banged up, and I don't like going against Philly off the loss to the Knicks. So it's a pass for me, but I'm maybe going to look toward Olynyk props tonight with him taking the spot of Jeremy Grant, who's likely not going to play. Dutch, we'll start with you. What do you like, Pistons and Sixers?
Yeah, man. Real quick salute to the chat. Appreciate y'all. Hit the motherfucking like button. Real quick like. Muchly appreciated. Nathan, everyone in there, I see y'all. Appreciate the love. Yeah, man. When it comes to, we're getting back on track today. We're getting back to that bread. Back in the black, as we like to say. Yeah, man. Let's go. This game right here, I agree with what Ian's saying. Simply, I believe I'm going to focus more on the first half, though. I don't know if I want to lay that big type of a number with the Sixers, but this is a clear Sixer spot to me. They play well at home. We know this. They got that ass whooped against the Knickerbockers, hitting them out early, often, and then they stumbled around in that second half and actually got me an in-game cover. But, nothing to brag about there. They didn't look good in that game. I think they'll bounce back. We heard Joel Embiid speak on it briefly, how he wasn't happy with his performance. 14 points, I believe, some atrocious numbers. Not even had enough field goal attempts to even talk about. It was just a bad game all around. Tobias Harris has been playing decent in the rotation. He had 23. I look for that to continue. Look for this bench to get a little more involved. We know Maxey. We know Kormars can do his thing, but also Curry to find his stroke a little bit too as well. To me, this is more of a fade of the Pacers, but I really like the Sixers -6 first half here. And just to touch on it, the Pacers are not averaging 91 points a fucking game, 19 assists, 40% from the field goal, and 22% from 3. It's a little bit of numbers there. The Pistons are not impressive. To me, their best player is not playing tonight, and of course, we're still yet to see Mr. Cunningham. So this is a clear Sixer spot for me.
All right, clear Sixer spot, but Dutch liking them more in the first half in this game, which you can get at -6 across the board. Wham, how do you feel about this one, Detroit, Philly?
Yeah, I think I'm going with your first mind, though, and I like the Pistons here. I actually wore the hat as well today.
Oh, wow. Detroit basketball. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I like the Pistons a lot here, to be honest with you guys. I think Embiid may not play here. That's another question mark for their side. I mean, obviously, Jeremy Grant questionable. You definitely want him in there. I'm hoping that he comes in here. But I think the 10.5 is probably going to be the biggest that you're going to see this line. I don't think you're going to see it any bigger than that. I think the MB news will come out, and he most likely will be out because he didn't look good the last game, like Dutch said. He just looked like he was just getting outrun. He couldn't really find his rhythm there. And then they're actually having 2-day rest with this Pistons team. It's a 1-day rest scenario for this Sixers team, and you want all the rest you can get for Embiid. So I could see them passing out him on this game because it's a Pistons team. They should be able to think they could beat him without Embiid. So him being in the lineup is definitely key. But I already locked in at the 10.5. I think that's a lot of numbers, even though Detroit is pretty terrible in the first quarter. So starting the game off, they may be getting they ass beat, but I believe that they will have the intensity there to get the rebounds here. As far as this Philadelphia team without Embiid, without Drummond, I think Drummond's playing today for sure. But without those two guys, they really don't have that much rebound in there. It's going to be a lot of Tobias Harris getting the rebound. So I think they may have a little advantage there for Sadiq-based crew with the Detroit Pistons. I like his game. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here with the 10.5 Detroit Pistons, bro. That's my first bet for the day, bro.
Yeah, the chat looking at this like a backwood. Most of them say pass. I'm seeing that. We're trying to hit this motherfucker from east side. Okay, well, one of us is going to be in the black on this one. Actually, we could both hit because you're going full game. So, yeah, we can both cash. I like it.
And I'm going prop-based bets in this game. So, yeah, we could all end up coming out of it on top and with the cash with the bag when it's all said and done. Atlanta and Washington. We've got Atlanta 2.5-point road favorites, 222.5 the total in this game. All right, so we have both of these teams, the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards, on the second night of back-to-back games. Handicapping 101 says, you want the better – if both teams are on the back-to-back and the price is reasonable, you just take the better team, which in this case is Atlanta. I lean Atlanta, but again, we're going back to this again with Atlanta laying points on the road. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, we all liked Atlanta. We all thought when that line got down to -5 last night that the Hawks were going to be a good way to go in that game against the Pelicans, and they didn't have a good first half. They did play better in the second half, but they end up winning, but not by enough. As 5-point road favorites, they win 102-99 in that game. Trae Young was very good. It was his offense that really carried the Hawks to victory. 31 points, shot 13-27 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3-point range. Very good floor game for him. 31 points, 7 assists in that game. Very solid from Trae. Collins and Hunter chipped in as well. Bogdanovich with 12 points. They had 4 in double figures in that game against New Orleans last night. How about can anybody figure out the Boston Celtics? I mean, my goodness. I mean, my gosh. I mean, 4-point underdogs for Washington. They win outright 116-107. That's what Washington can do. Washington can beat anybody on any given night this year, which we couldn't have said that last year. But I like that they've added that sandpaper, if you will, that defensive presence from the likes of Caldwell Pope and Kuzma from the Lakers in the offseason. Those were good additions. When Dinwiddie and Beal they have their starting backcourt on the floor, Washington, they can fill it up as well. And we've definitely seen that from them at the offensive end. And no more than last night did we see that on full display against the Boston Celtics, where they put 116 points. They shoot 51% from the field as a team. They just lit up that Celtics team. It's either good offense by Washington or bad defense by Boston. I don't know which side of the fence you sit on, but regardless, you give Washington a lot of credit for playing that well. This is a difficult game. I think, better team I side with here, and that's Atlanta. But, now they're now 0-2 against the spread as road chalk. And that's not necessarily a role that I'm ready to trust them in here tonight. 0-5, by the way, against the spread. Their last 5 games dating back to last year as road favorites. Let me see if I can get some long-term numbers for how these teams have done on the second night of back-to-back games here as well. I mean, for the Hawks, let me see if I can find something for the Wizards. For the Wizards, okay, around 500 for the Hawks, but for the Wizards on the second night of back-to-back games, get a load of this: 26-10. Against the spread in their last 36 on the second night of back-to-back games. So if you believe in that, maybe you look Washington here, +2.5. I'm probably passing, but we'll lean Washington based on that trend. What do you think here, Wham, Atlanta, Washington?
Yeah, I think this is a prop game. I think we do know that Atlanta does have a slow pace. I believe they rank towards the bottom of the team in slow pace. We do know what type of pace Washington always tries to bring. As far as a philosophy as a an organization. It seems like it's just even when they don't have those type of guys, they just try to go fast. I think Trae Young is kind of hurt. So Ray Charles, shout out to Ray Charles there in the chat. I think Trae Young is kind of hurt. He may be looking towards his assists. He's actually one of the top leading assist guys at 8.7 assists so far in the season. Assist total is 9.5, so definitely got it up high. The books expect him to have a high total of assists as well. So I think the assist 9.5 is what you're getting. You're getting that plus money. I like that look a lot. Trae Young over 9.5 assists. That's probably the only way I would look if I was to bet this game. But other than that, it's probably a backwood.
I lean under 222.5. The numbers come down. Washington is trending under this year, a little bit better defensively, which they didn't play any defense last year. They're definitely better defensively this year. And second night of back-to-back games. And the under's also historically been good in this head-to-head battle. Under 8-1 the last 9 meetings in Washington with the Hawks and the Wizards. So I do lean under 222.5. Dutch, what do you like here, Hawks and Wizards?
Yeah, shout out. You could probably get this cast name a lot better than me. Kevin with the Dono 699 from Cali. Keep doing your thing, boys. Yeah, how do you say that last name, Ian? You're muted, my guy.
DeFreitas.
DeFreitas, yes. Kevin DeFreitas. I didn't want to kill him, my guy. Appreciate you, all love. And we will keep doing our goddamn thing, my man, just for you. Yeah, man. Shout out to Rim Most. Appreciate you. Y'all hit that motherfucking like button real quick. Like, share the video if you can. I did not like that stat that Ian brought up. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you about the back-to-backs. But I liked what he said from the beginning, how he started off. You know, how he started off it with, take the better team in the one Cat 101 on the back-to-back, take the better fucking team. And I believe Atlanta is the better team. I don't want to talk about Boston, but the Wizards did, look impressive. They impressed me last night. Bradley Beal didn't even shoot the ball well, and they still pretty much had that game, from start to finish. But yeah, when it comes, I don't know if we're gonna get I don't even know if Bill might not play. He's always in these back-to-backs, always some type of gimpy. He'll probably will play coming off a bad game. But Dinwiddie too coming off an injury, being back. I don't know if these are two guys I'm looking to back on a back-to-back, definitely, especially after a hard game in Boston. But I look at Atlanta. You touched on some stats from last night. They did get the job done, didn't cover. But to me, overall, they didn't play a good basketball game. Yes, Trae Young looked good, had 30-plus points. One touch on the assist. I had over 9.5, plus 110. The motherfucker had 7 assists for the longest time. I swear to God, I kept thinking, is it still 7? No, it stayed on 7. It ended on fucking 7. But I'll go, I'm not going to bet it, but I'm not mad at it. He, like we talked about yesterday, he's got shooters all over the place. And to be honest, the reason why he didn't fucking hit it was because Herter, Bogdanovic, and Cam Reddish, especially Cam Reddish, all in my fucking A. He had 12 points, but by as many open shots as they had, it was not a good night for the role players. John Collins had a good game, had a nice game, double-double. Capella did his rebounds, contributed 5 points, but his job is out there to rebound. But when it comes from a role player aspect, they didn't have a good game. So I looked them to bounce back tonight. I mean, they shot 21 fucking % from the three-point line. And the reason why they won this game was because they out-rebounded them. They were plus 11 in the rebounds, plus 12 on the offensive rebounds. I look for them to outwork a Wizards team that should get tired by the fourth quarter. And I'm looking at the Hawks to win this game outright. Minus 2.5 if you got it. The 3 was always around earlier, but I like that 2.5.
All right, like
the way they're handling business. Let me get the hot call.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. I feel better now.
There you go. Everybody loves that little sound of the hawk there. Minus 140, or you can do a minus 2.5 with the Atlanta Hawks here in this one against Washington. All right, we got the game of the night. So we're going to put the poll up as well for this one. New York Knicks and Chicago Bulls. Who you think in the chat is going to win this one? We've got Chicago 1.5 point home favorites, 216.5 the total in this game. The money's come in on the Knicks, and strength of schedule is not usually something I really buy into in the NBA. It's not a big part of what I look at, but when you look at the Knicks, they've at least played Boston. They played Philly in a couple of their games, and they won both of those games, and they split with Orlando in back-to-back. And I know the Bulls are off to a 4-0 start. They played the Pistons twice, the Pelicans, and the Raptors. So you could say that Chicago's had a light schedule so far. And I think that's maybe what people see in betting New York here in this game. 3.5 down to 1. And Zach LaVine is obviously, we're hearing, questionable to play tonight for Chicago. But if he does play, don't think, oh, he's not going to be able to be effective, because he's shown he can be effective. Because right now it's not a major injury that he's battling. It's a ligament tear, a small one in the thumb of his non-shooting hand. So it's not something that's going to be basically just a total detriment and problem for him shooting the basketball. He can probably still play through it. And look, he's already played through it the last couple, and he's still averaging 25.5 points per game. So it's not like Zach LaVine has been bad, even playing through this injury. He's still gotten it going offensively for this group. So we'll see. They are being cautious, though. And if it flares up a little bit, it's the injury, they might, precautionary reasons, sit him out tonight. But we'll wait and see on that. It's not confirmed yet. The Knicks, how about what they did the other night against the Sixers? 112-99 victory. Very impressive win for New York in that game over Philadelphia. Now they got to go on the road, though, and they have not done that other than the one game against Orlando to face this Bulls team. The money's come in on New York. I haven't bet this game yet. Not sure I will, but I'm kind of leaning the other way here. Bulls. They're now at 1.5 in this game. Keep in mind, they played 3 times last year. Bulls won one of the 2 home games, and they barely lost the other home game by 4 to the Knicks last year. So they split in Chicago, and Chicago's much better this year than they were last year. Near pick'em at home. I'm leaning Bulls here. I haven't bet it yet, but I might be pulling the trigger and adding this to the card with Chicago. It's certainly the way I would go if I'm going to get involved in it, is with Chicago. What do you like here, Dutch, with the Knicks and the Bulls?
Yeah, when it comes to this game, shout out to our guy Nate Dogg. I see you, my dude. Ray Charles is on Capella over rebounds too. I wanted to mention that. I forgot about that. All love, guys. Yeah, this game, realistically, man, I love the Knicks here. I really do. I mean, I think this is going to be a sharp game. It's tough, but I like the Knicks here, and what it comes down to me, like I touched on this morning, is it's about the role players, man. Yeah, the Bulls starting lineup, yeah, they could rock with the Knicks, but this is one game out of 82. This is where the bench comes involved. There's a reason why they have a bench and why you need a good bench to be a good basketball team in the NBA. Yeah. And this is what the Knicks have. Not to mention, I love the Thibodeau factor going back into Chicago. These guys are going to rally around that. D Rose back in there. D Rose has been playing lights fucking out. I mean, Kemba had to ball out the way he did against the Sixers the other night, or else D Rose might be starting that motherfucker the way he's been playing. But D Rose is the kind of guy that's cool coming off the bench. He's getting his minutes. You know what I'm saying? He's playing great basketball, though. They're deep as fuck. This team is averaging, off the bench, they're averaging 41 points per game. They're doubling the fucking Bulls. The Bulls average 20 points per game. They've had 2 games where they've only had 10 points production off the bench in a small fraction of time. It's just not good. They're very, very top heavy. Now you got their stud with a torn ligament. Yes, it is in his non-shooting hand, but still, that ball hits it the wrong way. That shit don't feel too good. Believe that. I look for LaVine to play, though. He's not going to be, I don't think he'll be on top LaVine, but he'll still be solid LaVine, get you 18 to 24 points in that between. But, he can do that, because I believe the Knicks will just eventually, that bench will catch up with you, and they'll win this game by 5 or 6 points. It'll be a nail biter. It'll be a close one. But in my opinion, the Knicks are simply a better team. They are 6-2 in the last 8 meetings. I know the Bulls are a new team, but the Bulls also play well in this spot on the road. 14-5 ATS in their last 19 road games, excuse me. So I like what I'm seeing from the Knicks. Obviously, we know they bring the lunch pail. They're that type of team. They're carrying that over from last year. 7-1 ATS in their last 8 versus the Central Division. So I look for this as a clear Knicks spot. Go in there and handle business in Chi-Town.
They are the better bench. There's no dispute there. Chicago, it does have a very thin bench compared to the Knicks. Knicks can go 10 or 11 deep on some nights when they've got everybody going all at the same time. There's no question about that. And, they've gotten, and, we got to give RJ Barrett credit too, because he's had a nice start this season. 10, 12, 19 points, 3 of the 4. He's looked much better than he did,
right. He's a big key. I wanted to touch on that, Ian. RJ Barrett's a big key. If he gets 17 to 18 points, there's no way the Knicks lose this game. But if he shows up with 12 or 14 and it's real quiet, they could go out of Chicago with an L.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. It's actually one I'm very, very excited to see. I think from a prop standpoint, if LaVine doesn't play or he's hampered, someone's got to pick up the DeRozan will go out there and get his, so I wouldn't argue with DeRozan prop, but more than anything, Lonzo's going to have to be a volume shooter or a higher volume shooter if LaVine doesn't play. So my theory with the props are LaVine doesn't play, Maybe we look to Lonzo. Lonzo has averaged 15 points, so far this year. And he's going to have to probably average more or score more than that if Levine doesn't play because, you got to compensate for his absence offensively somewhere. Someone's got to pick up the slacks. With Levine, he's averaged 14.3 points per game. If Levine doesn't play, he's probably going to have to shoot a little bit more, Lonzo, and his prop is 15.5. So I might look over 15.5 if Levine's a no-go tonight for Chicago. That's kind of something I'm looking at. For the Knicks in terms of props, it's the angle, and I think Dutch mentioned it. It's Derrick Rose back in Chicago. It's hard to ignore maybe looking at D Rose tonight over that 14. I think it's 13.5 with his points tonight. It's hard not to. He's going to be fired up in Chicago. He always is. There's like a homecoming of sorts for him. So I'm looking at Rose over 13.5 points, and I might add Lonzo Ball over 15.5 if Zach LaVine doesn't suit up tonight for Chicago. What do you think here, Wham?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Dutch. I think that this is a better team here in the New York Knicks, and we already talked about how top heavy I believe the Bulls are. I mean, I just don't think their bench is really, an NBA bench right now, as far as, bottom tier bench for sure in the NBA, in my opinion. But they have been playing really well defense wise, and they have been shooting the three actually well, which is in my surprise. I didn't think they were going to be shooting three as good as they have been. They've been shooting the less amount of threes in the league, though. They haven't been shooting that many. So this is a difference between this team and the Knicks. The Knicks shoot a lot of threes, and I believe that the Knicks continue to shoot threes here, even though the Bulls, they have been holding opponents, I believe, so far this season, 33% from three, same as the Knicks, just around the same as the Knicks, which is strange there. I think, like Ian said, though, it's the competition that they've been playing. They haven't been playing anybody that's going to make those threes. This is a team that's going to make threes. Preferably, who I would prefer to make those threes the most is Evan Fournier. His over 3 prop is 2.5. He hit 4 last game. He's been balling out. I had the stats up right here. He had 4 last game out of 6 attempts, 2 out of 7 attempts against the Magic. Played the Magic again, got 4 out of 9 attempts in that one. And then against the Celtics, obviously he was fired up in that game. He had 6 out of 13. So I think he could get over this 2.5, which is minus 110. I think that is a good look here. That's probably the way I would bet this. I haven't gotten involved with a Bulls game yet because I want to see what they are, but I think I would get involved with the Evan Fournier over 2.5 3-point makes, of course.
All right, liking the over liking over 3.5, over 2.5 threes for Evan Fournier for the Knicks. The Knicks have gone over the total 3 of their first 4 games. I kind of lean that way here, 216. And here's the reason. You're going to see on a bunch of sites, and I've noticed this, Chicago's the second best defensive team so far this year in the NBA. Get out of here with that. They're not the second best team defensively in the NBA. Yeah. It's all schedule related.
It's all schedule. Yeah, that's a big reason, like you said, to who they played to me. You got to show it to me, man. You got to show it.
Right.
Raptors have a limited offense. Pistons, and Grant in and out, limited offense. Pelicans, same thing. I mean, those are the opponents. That's why you have the second best defense right now in the NBA. This is going to be tougher tonight. You're right, against a deeper Knicks team. So I lean over for that reason. I think this, and people think of the Knicks as a defensive team. I even think this is going to be a challenge for the Knicks defense because, I think Chicago's as good offensively as anyone they've played. And I'll say this right now, the Knicks are as good offensively as anybody the Bulls have played so far. So I'm liking the over a little bit in this game. A little contrarian here, 216 in this one with the Knicks and the Bulls. Plus those props, Rose for the Knicks. And if Levine doesn't play, I might look at Lonzo Ball over points as well. We've got Utah and Houston now. Next up, Utah, 9.5 point road favorites in this game. 222.5 the total across the board. This is like the Golden State Oklahoma City game the other night. Wash, rinse, repeat. Where I feel the right side is Utah, but I don't know if I want to lay 9.5. I could see it like the other night where they win by 8. Like Golden State won by 8 at Oklahoma City, and they just sleepwalk and they do enough to win. I think I prefer the Jazz team total. 115.5 over than laying the points because matchup wise they should be a good matchup offensively here against this Houston team, which really doesn't defend very well. It was a horrible defensive team last year, and I think they're going to have their issues again getting stops this year. You look at the Rockets defensively so far, it hasn't been pretty. 44% field goal percentage allowed so far The Jazz, I think this is kind of a game for them where, there's been some games where earlier, the Oklahoma City game, they didn't shoot their best, but better in the Sacramento game, much better against Denver. 44 of 85 they were from the floor in that game, the win and cover against the Nuggets. They're 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread this year. Certainly, I want no part of Houston, but again, it's just got that little bit of a feel to it that maybe Houston just sneaks inside the number, kind of like OKC did. But I'm very confident that the team total can get there here for Utah. You look at the last meeting against Houston, they put a 124 spot on the board. I think that's the safer play. Rather than 9.5, and laying the points, look toward Utah team total over 115.5. That's the one I like here in this game. And the Jazz still have been, on the defensive end of the basketball court. They're a capable group. And, sometimes with Houston against focused teams, good and defensive teams that bring that focus at that end of the floor, they struggle. Remember, they were held to 97 by Boston. And after what we've seen from Boston defensively at home in a couple of games this year, it even looks even more unimpressive that all the Rockets were able to score were 97 in that game against Boston and only shot 32 of 75 in that. So I'm not convinced Houston gets their points. That's why I like the team total rather than the full game over in this game. So Jazz team total for me over 115.5. Dutch, what do you think here with Utah and Houston?
Yeah, shout out to our guy Danny Lopez and Danny Betts. Tease, I see you guys. Gerald Martinez. Yeah, man. Jay Peasy. Yeah, it's a couple new names I see in there too. I see y'all, man. Salute. Hit the motherfucking like button. Muchly appreciated. This game, realistically, from a betting perspective, if you want me to go to the window with it, it is a clear backwood. We don't have many games to talk about. So if people do want to bet this game, I'll give you little numbers. I'd only back Utah probably early and then honestly full game. I think the only way you get Houston here is like a backdoor cover, because Utah does handle business in this situation. They're 5-1 ATS in their last 6 on the road as a favorite, 9-2 ATS last 11 as a favorite, 6-2-1 ATS in their last 9 in Houston. In the last 3 meetings, they're 3-0 ATS and with a win margin of plus 15 or more. So, I mean, if you're going to stand in the way of that, I don't know what you see on Houston that's going to make you want to do that. They don't have a point guard. I agree with the over. They don't play no defense, so I definitely like the team total over as well. But they don't have a point guard running the show. It's just pretty much you guys get yours. Let's go. Whoever's the hot hand, go out there and do your thing. That's what it is. And Eric Gordon caught fire the other night. It's just somebody will get some points to probably keep this game somewhat close as a sweat. But I could only look Utah here if I had to bet it.
All right, Wham, Utah and Houston.
Yeah, I'm thinking the way Ian is attacking this here is team total for Utah. It's going to be a high pace for the number 3 in pace so far this season for the Houston Rockets. They've been number 3 so far, pretty much going up and down the floor. But somebody tagged, when I tweeted out this, that somebody tagged me with the Kevin Porter Jr. over in turnovers. Whatever the number was, he didn't even say what number it is. He just pretty much said the over. That guy's leading the league in turnovers, right underneath our guy Westbrook. My guy Ian called out. So he's the number 1 guy in turnovers. So he's going to push the pace. He's going to make those mistakes. And these guys shooting all the threes in the world. So I would definitely think that Utah should be able to get over this team total over. Anything over 120, I think they should be able to see 120 here in this game, in my opinion. So I think that's kind of where I would lean here.
And that's an excellent point, Wham, about the turnovers for Porter, because if you're turning it over against Utah, you can't get back in transition. You can't cover the perimeter as well if you're coughing up the basketball, and that's going to leave you wide open shooters around on the three-point line, and you don't want to do that against Utah. And if you're going to turn it over against Utah, it's going to leave your transition defense in a horrendous state, trying to match up against the three-point shooting of the Jazz off those turnovers. So that, to me, makes me think that that's going to fuel this Jazz team offensively a little bit if they're going to treat the ball like a hand grenade. Again, Kevin Porter and company for the Rockets. So good point there. Next up, we've got San Antonio and Dallas. Dallas 6-point home favorites, 220 and a half the total in this game between these two teams. We'll see how this. I like the Spurs here. I really do. I know they've lost a couple in a row. Milwaukee and the Lakers. They lost by 10 at home to the Bucks, and they had a tough loss against the Lakers in overtime, 125-121 earlier this week. The Dallas Mavericks. They are Not that team that I'm really comfortable laying points with in this home favorite role. We talked about it against Houston, a couple of nights ago, and they won by 10, but it took them until, I would say 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter to really, separate themselves from the Houston Rockets in that game. That was a pretty tight game most of the way. So Dallas is just one of those teams that I'm not confident in them building a margin. In the last year, they were not good in this home favorite role. And I'm not ready to trust them laying points here in this game either tonight. It looks like for the Mavericks here in terms of injuries, we do have a couple questionables for tonight. Boban Marjanovic, game time decision for them. They've got Trey Burke, Sterling Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis all out tonight for the Dallas Mavericks. I think this is, again, I'm always interested in bigs of the other team against this Dallas Mavericks front court because I don't think they've got the great toughness and physicality and defense in that front court. So this is a night for guys like Keldon Johnson and Jakob Poeltl for the Spurs. I think if you like points and rebounds in particular for Poeltl, the number 5 spot here for the Spurs could be something you look at here in this game because, again, no Porzingis. Dwight Powell's good, but he's a little bit of a Ian Cameron type of stature. And that's not normally good for being down low in the paint area. So to me, this is probably for Jakob Poeltl, a good game for him, points and rebounds. I would look in that direction. And I'm on San Antonio here, plus the 6. I think after the tough loss to the Lakers, it's a team that's going to be looking to make amends for that against a team that, like I say, struggling to win games by margin at home, kind of like they did last year as well. So I like San Antonio here, plus 6. Dutch, what do you think? Spurs and Mavs.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with my guy who just said it. The Mavs are real. My false names just slipped my mind, but yeah, they Mavs are real inconsistent. Nathan, my guy Nathan Seaman, yeah, they are real inconsistent, bro. I mean, their 2 wins. I know it's a short season, but they beat fucking Houston and Toronto, and got their ass whooped by Atlanta, who hasn't looked that great. Who I'm expecting to look good tonight. But yeah, man, I like it was at 7. Now that we got it down to 6, but I still could only look San Antonio. This is one of these where I figure we talk it all out on the show, and I probably bet it by the end of it. I talked a little bit about it with Jimmy earlier today, and I was already thinking, like, man, San Antonio. But it was at 7 too, and I'm like, man, shout out to Blake Atwood. It just seems real appealing to me. I don't think the Mavs should be favored by that much against really anybody right now in the NBA. And San Antonio has shown that they keep staying in the game. They covered against Denver. They had my boy Wham's Lakers against the motherfucking ropes, right. Dropped it though. Couldn't hit a free throw. And, Lakers handled business in overtime. Enough said on that. But yeah, I just simply don't think I could back the Mavs. They're 0-5 ATS last 5 at home, 1-5 ATS last 6 versus the Western Conference. Like I mentioned, we haven't seen them play nobody really yet. And the one team they have played who's some put it on them. So I can't, there's no way I could go to the window, with the Mavs. I want to bet Luka props. I seen my guy Ray Charles, I believe, is on the over 8.5. But I don't like what I'm hearing behind the scenes, all this shit. They want to let all these guys play. I don't know. I got to see it. I want to watch it, see it. I'm not liking what Jason Kidd's doing so far. I will say that just from a rotation standpoint. And Lucas needs to be more ball dominant. Just what he is. He can get 15 assists a game and have 30 points. He can do that and still get you 12 boards. We've seen it happen plenty of times. There's no reason why he shouldn't be scoring 30 plus easy with the way these call, the way they call in the league now. I mean, it's just easy for him. He's big, he's strong. Go to the hole, attack. And, I don't want to see him shooting all them threes, but I want to see the ball in Luka's fucking hand is pretty much what I'm trying to say. But yeah, shout out to Real Deal Prime. But yeah, I would only look San Antonio here. And clearly I think I might have missed it at 7, but 6 is still a pretty number.
Yeah, this to me is the more I look into it, too, especially look, Anthony Davis played the other night against the Lakers or for the Lakers against the Spurs, and Poeltl still had a hell of a game.
Yeah,
in the low post, 27 points and 14 rebounds, double. He's not facing anybody that caliber. Dallas in their front court. Jakob Poeltl double is plus 190. I'm jumping in on that.
Plus, I might have to tell that.
Yeah, I might have to slide on that one too.
Yeah, I might just do that and say fuck the side.
Plus 190. Yeah, with Jakob Poeltl double tonight in this. He's just coming off 27 and 14 against the Lakers. The Mavericks have nothing in their front court. imposing that the Lakers have.
Wow.
And I think that's a great, and like I say, over points, over rebounds, over points and rebounds, Pirtle. You could even do that with Keldon Johnson too, if you want, because I think he's going to have room to roam down low as well. So it's Johnson and Pirtle props night for me in this game as well, I think, for the San Antonio Spurs. What do you think here, Wham, with San Antonio and Dallas?
Yeah, I was going to say this is a backwood until you said that, man. That sounds super interesting to me. The Jakob Poeltl double-double. That sounds real good. Honestly, though, this game is possibly still going to be a pass for me. Besides that, I might likely tell that right there. Other than that, I just don't see any value in betting this game. I do think that Popovich seems like he's coaching really well. I mean, a strategy to keep Russell away from assists, it hurt me a lot, but I just really keyed in on how he was just allowing him to get those wide open layups there to the rim. Countless possessions after possession. Just did not want Russ to have those other shooters open to blow this out the water. So I thought that was very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if I see something similar right now with Luka here. Wouldn't be so quick to take the assist prop with Luka just to be safer like that, just because based off the coaching here. I think the coaching is definitely a question, man, for Dallas. Just like Dutch pointed out, man, just those reports, it's kind of got me a little worried about this team long term for sure, especially having to kick out your last coach, getting rid of the GM. It does seem like there's a lot of things going on with this team. The reasoning for me to bet against the 76ers was not only if Embiid is questionable, but a lot of the drama that they've been experiencing this year so far. This is another team that's been dealing with a lot of drama, bro. So maybe we just need to fade the teams with drama. I mean, the Lakers including, honestly. A lot of these teams that have been having these little issues here, just starting a new franchise, Ford, Tactics, Nets, Lakers, you know what I mean, Dallas, all these new teams here. Maybe we want to take a fade on, man. Yeah, Boston.
New GM with fucking.
It's a lot of issues there. It's a lot of issues going on from these organizations coming trickling down here. Not saying that the Lakers have that problem, but LeBron is pretty much that fucking top bottom shit. So he's involved in that. Yeah, man. But I honestly think only way to bet here is that double prop that my guy Ian said, and then along with the Spurs. I think the Spurs is definitely probably this bet. If you get the 7, that's it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think there's the Spurs, and look at those front court players of the Spurs as well. Pirtle and Keldon Johnson. I think those are definitely good routes to take here in this game with the Spurs and the Mavs tonight. All right, final game on this Thursday slate. It's the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. Golden State 6-point home favorites, 228.5, 229, and even some 229.5s with the total. So different totals at a bunch of different books, so make sure you shop around there. Memphis back-to-back for them. They were in Portland last night, and they got thrashed by the Blazers, 116-96. I guess a tongue lashing from Chauncey Billups did the trick for the Portland Trail Blazers, who bounced back strong with a 20-point win last night against Memphis. This has been a pretty lengthy road trip, and they're going home to face Miami on Saturday night. Memphis after this. I don't love the concept usually of backing, especially young teams like Memphis on the road for last game of the road trip, right? They're all excited, giddy to get back home to Memphis here, and I could see that here tonight against Golden State. The question is now, do I want to lay 6 with Golden State in this spot? They're coming off back-to-back road games against the Kings and the Thunder, winning both of them. How about the Warriors here? 4-0 start to the season for them. It's been a very, very solid beginning to the year for them. They catch the Grizzlies here at the tail end of this 4-game road trip. I could see this going Golden State's way. They are 6-1 against the spread, their last 7 at home. Memphis has really had a tough time of it in Golden State, 3-8 against the spread, last 11 trips to Golden State. Although I should point out, they did win their most recent visit to San Francisco here and Golden State. They beat them in overtime last May 21st, 117 to 112. So kind of conflicting factors here. I mean, Memphis, you think, wants to bounce back strong. It was an ugly game against Portland, but it's also the end of the long road trip. So it's kind of one bet on factor for Memphis on one angle, the bounce back after last night's, blowout loss. And the other is a bet against angle where it says, you don't want to back this young team in the last game of a long road trip. So it's a pass for me. I'm probably not going to get involved in this one. What do you think here, Dutch, Memphis, and Golden State?
Yeah, shout out to Star Child, new name. I haven't seen that, but he's on. They want to be on the other side of what I would probably bet in this game would be the Grizzlies first half. They like the Warriors first half -3. If I was to bet this game, it would be Grizzlies first half +3.5. We touched on, the Warriors start slow. They really do. Shout out to Tony B. I see you, my guy. Let's hit that motherfucking like button. We got a hundo. That's Mando, and we appreciate you too. We really do. But let's keep going and share the video if you can. We appreciate it even more. Yeah, man. But yeah, the Warriors, man, like I think they win this game, but are they going to cover 6? So I think, and then the Grizzlies getting their ass whooped last night. I look at a spot where they come out ready to probably rock and roll. Warriors probably in cruise control until the second half, so haven't been running too great the last few days. So I don't want to force nothing. I might pull a wham here and see how I do in the early games. And then this could be a bet later. You know what I mean? The +3.5 does look very appealing to me. I wanted to load up on Steph Curry, though. He's averaging, I believe 42.5 last 2 meetings versus the Grizzlies. We know the Grizzlies ain't paying no fucking D. They don't got Brook out there to, fucking foul and hound everyone out there and breathe on them and shit heavy. So, I look for really Curry to get off. I wanted to get the 3 props. It's over 5.5. It's like I can't do that. I can't bet that. It probably hits though. He's had 15 threes against these guys in the last 2 games. And the one game he played at home this year, he went for 45. I think he had 8 threes. So he likes playing in the Bay. He loves his home rims. He's eating good with wifey. I expect that to continue. But this is kind of a big number to me, 6. Like it's out there. I could even I recall we laid 3.5 not too long ago, and they won by 3. Now I'm gonna go back there and lay 6. I don't like that feeling, but I do look at Grizzlies first half 3.5. As a look, that does look appealing. I'll hold off and see how these first games go, which I do believe will be lovely, and I'll probably be on that Grizzlies first half, my +3.5.
Yeah, Grizzlies have covered in the first half in 3 of their 4 games so far. Yeah. So
right
there you go. They've had those goods. The only one was the Laker game, and actually they covered the full game, but they didn't cover the first half. Kind of weird, kind of reverse in that one game. But the other 3 they did. Wham! What do you think? Memphis, Golden State.
Yeah, I love that look with the first half. They covered last night, even though they had a terrible third quarter. Jared Jackson didn't play well, and Ja Morant didn't have that many attempts here. He only shot 12 times.
9 turnovers?
9 turnovers as well, but he had 10 assists. So he only had 1 over that.
He was in the plus. He was in the plus.
So he only had 1 assist, really, all right? But for the most part, though, I think that you could go back to the well with Ja Morant here. I think it may be he may be leading the league in his points this year. I think that's the type of season he's probably going to have here. He's already up there as far as like how many points so far. I believe 30 points he's averaging so far. Obviously, he didn't have that many attempts, 12 attempts last game, but before that, he was in the 20s in attempts. Average had 40 against the Lakers, 36 in another game. I got it up right here. My apologies, you guys. I just blanked out and moved out of here, but 37, 28, 40 was before the last night's game. So I think he continues to do that and go over the 26.5 points, which is plus money at even money there. I think I like that as well. If I was to make a play, and then Dutch kind of already talked about it here, if I'm doing good later on, this is probably going to slide as an addition I'll add on to Twitter here. Ja Morant over 26.5 points. I got that written down here. That's kind of how I was thinking here. I think he's going to play well. And I do agree with you, though, Dutch. I think these guys played tough. I mean, obviously, yesterday they got, smacked up a little bit. But that was a good spot let's just say that's a good spot for Portland. They had bad shooting slumps. They got out of those shooting slumps. In this game, I think it may be a little bit of a chance that this would be a close game than it is. We already seen how these guys played each other in the play-in. I think we get a little bit more of a same type of agenda here. It'd be a tight game. Maybe the Warriors still win, like you said, and there's the Grizzlies cover here. I like that first half look. That's probably the best bet there. Besides the what I think about Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant is probably going to be on my card for sure.
Yeah, I think he'll go off. I think it's going to be points back and forth between Curry and Morant.
Right.
Yeah, Curry. Yeah, I agree with that because look, they're allowing over 40% from 3-point range, Memphis, and that's not usually where you want to have trouble here against Golden State and that firepower that they have. That's why I'm kind of tempted now I'm going to wait for the total to drop further because I'm not going to be involved in the side. I do kind of see the reasons to like Memphis first half, but I might jump in over the total if it gets lower. If it gets to below 229, I think that's too much of a move because this total opened 233. So it's gone down 4 points. And I don't know if that's warranted. I know, especially with the Grizzlies struggling to defend the perimeter. By the way, Poole and Bielitsa for Golden State. I'm kind of looking at props for them tonight potentially in this game. Those are the ones that I was considering here in this one. When you look at the Bielitsa has been a very, very bright light early in the year here for this Warriors team. He's played pretty well, and Jordan Poole might get going a little bit too. 16.5. Give Curry a little help. He's his backcourt mate, the shooting guard spot. I think you could see Poole again also take advantage of a team that's kind of struggling against the perimeter defensively. So Poole and Bielitsa for the Warriors, kind of looking at that as well. Yeah, Warriors revenge factor. Yes, Grizz kicked their asses out of the playoffs. Yes, that is a factor too. So is this going to be a game that Golden State's all pumped up for potentially? For that reason, no question about that. Desmond Bane's playing. Desmond Bane is in. The current depth charts have him in there. He'll be in the backcourt spot alongside Ja Morant. So he'll be on the shooting forward or small forward spot. Desmond Bane tonight for this game. So yeah, he's going to be in.
He needs to be out there for sure. Cover that 3.5.
He does because he's been good offensively. He's been actually very good. Offensively.
19 points yesterday.
Yeah,
shout out to her. Said that in the chat.
Yeah. So Bane, by the way, over point props. I wouldn't argue with those either tonight in this Memphis Golden State game. All right. Before we go to best bets to wrap up the show, we're going to hit the other sports rapid fire. Briefly on the ice, I'll give you a couple bets. NHL, Carolina minus 135 and over 5.5 against Boston. I'm on that tonight. I'm on a combo bet with Tampa Bay to win and over 5.5 against Arizona. You may not be able to find that at every book. If you can't, I'd go with the team total over 3.5 for Tampa Bay just because Arizona gives up 4 goals or more to everybody. So I like that one as well. I'm on Vancouver minus 130 against Philadelphia. I lean to the over with Colorado, St. Louis, and I'm on Winnipeg, Los Angeles over 5.5. So there you go. There's your hockey plays for me tonight. Football. Nice. There you go. Loving it. Football, briefly. College football. I like Troy at plus 17.5. Weather's going to be bad, and you got Coastal Carolina off their first loss of the year. I could see them just kind of struggling to win this game by a big margin. So I like Troy plus 17 and against Coastal. And I like South Florida plus 9.5 against East Carolina. East Carolina is a great underdog, but they're a bad favorite. South Florida's covered twice since their bye week. They look like a recharged team a little bit, the Bulls. I like that one, plus the points with South Florida, and lean over as well, 56. Both teams, I think, are better offensively than defensively, South Florida, I should say, and East Carolina. And then we've got Thursday night NFL football, Green Bay, Arizona. Now, I bet Arizona Monday because I've been fan club of Arizona all year, minus 3.5. I didn't even know this shit was going to hit the fan with the Packers and all these COVID issues. But fortunate now I got a good number. I backed Arizona in every big game, every statement game. What have we seen from Arizona this year? They played their best football. Tennessee, which looks like an even better win now, right? Because of what Titans have done the last couple of weeks. They kicked the Titans' ass on the road. They kicked the Rams' ass on the road, won that one in blowout fashion. And then they beat down Cleveland. Cleveland had a lot of injuries, but still to go on the road, beat a good Browns team. Every good team they played their best football. Arizona. Green Bay has played opponents this year with a combined record of 15-25. There's Chicago and Detroit and Washington and a banged-up San Francisco team. A lot of weak opponents. Feasting on the weak is what I think the Packers have been doing. So I'm all about Arizona. I can't say I love 6.5 now compared to what I had at 3.5, but I want no part of Green Bay right now, not with all these issues. And Arizona stepped on the throat of every good team they've played in these step-up games this year. So I'm only looking Cardinals, the Birds here, for the Cardinals to get the job done here tonight. We'll start with you, Dutch. Did you have any thoughts on anything else, the Thursday night football, NFL in particular?
Shout out to Sharon. Kenny, I forgot what she just said, but she knows something. Kenny on the Astros tonight. Okay, get that show money, bro. I'm on the full game under 51, and in the football game. I just think run the ball. I mean, I love that. I think you missed the boat, honestly, if you didn't bet Arizona when Ian did, or if you don't have like a 4 in your pocket. You can't go lay 6 there. I mean, you just missed it. Wait for an in play. Hopefully, maybe Green Bay gets up or something. You can get a good number. But yeah, I could only look Green Bay from a side perspective. But I like the under first half, under full game. Oh, Sharon like anytime touchdown. Fucking Jones. I like anytime touchdown. Yeah, that one I like too. That one's solid. I think Jones and Dillon will get a lot of the work tonight with the injuries from the receivers. I'm going the other side on that, Shannon. I'm going to go James Conner, anytime touchdown plus 105. He had 6 touchdowns his last 5 games. Quiet the first 2. After that, he's been fucking touching the paint. 13 and a half carries a game he's averaging in the last 5, so he's been getting the bulk of the carries. We know they got Murray and Edmonds, but I look for Conner to be the guy down there when it gets time to get those fucking yards and get the touchdown for us, plus 105. That's, and I'll root for you in the hockey, my guy.
Yeah, and you know what? This could still be a great game tonight. It might be, but it would have been really one hell of a game if Green Bay had all their receivers, healthy and they had their full complement with them. I mean, you're talking about a 6-1 team and a 7-0 Arizona team. Still should be an interesting game. I'm with you on the fact that they might run the football more. They were without their Pro Bowl center, Rodney Hudson, Arizona too, and last game without him, I mean, he took some hits against Houston. I mean, it's not going to look like it with a 31-5 win, but he took some punishment early in that game, Kyler Murray. The pass protection wasn't as good last week without their Pro Bowl starting center anchoring the O-line, Rodney Hudson. So keep that in mind. I think they'll look to run the ball. I like the under. I know a lot of people like that. It's just very high considering Green Bay, I think, is without over 50% of their receiving production tonight in this game.
Yeah, I know they got stats that they cover, but that's a lot. Plus, since week 3, the last 5 Thursday night games, I mentioned it this morning, 40 points is the average total in the game. Thursday nights, these coaches want to get this shit over with. The players don't want to be playing. They should be resting right now. I know we like to see it as a fan, but we know they don't like it. Coaches, players, they hate Thursday night. Run the ball, run the clock. Let's get this motherfucker over with.
Yeah, they have had a good record against Adams, but this is going to be probably – I'd argue in that 6-0 without Devontae Adams, Nathan, that how many of those teams were as good as this Arizona team that they're going to play tonight in that 6-0? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, it was garbage. Don Ricci actually put that out. I wish I had that right now, but it wasn't against good competition.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is going to be – and this is like the best – this is the only remaining undefeated team in football right now that they're playing on the road tonight on a short week as well with the COVID stuff flying around. So, yeah, tough spot for Green Bay. We'll see if they can do the best they can under these tough circumstances. Wham, did you have any thoughts on the NFL game?
I agree with you guys, man. I still think that Arizona is still undervalued, man. Maybe this line is not as long as it's supposed to be, y'all. Like 6 ain't that bad to take the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals probably blow them out the water. I don't have any hopes for a Green Bay defense. They played well last week, but that was against a weak opponent. Like Ian said again, they only playing these weak opponents, man. So I don't really see it here. I think if they do try to control the clock here, it's going to be tough for them to be able to stop these guys on the other side on defense. So they could try to run the ball all they want. It's just if they're not cashing in tickets, if it's your Max Crosby day, I think that's probably what it is. And they probably ain't going to be able to keep up here. I think that's probably team total over Arizona spot and Arizona. You know what I mean? So I do like the I think you said under do you say under in this game, Dutch? Yeah, I do like the under in this game. Also, I do see my guy Noli knows. I'm probably going to tell him on the under in the Troy game. I do like that. I think Ian's brought in on the weather there. I think these guys try to run the ball a lot there. And
rain and wind at Myrtle Beach there tonight. So not beach weather.
And I like my guy McCall. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I like my guy McCall here, but it's just, I think this shit gonna really factor in today. You know what I mean? And then yeah, that's pretty much the only way I'm leaning there as far as the games there. And I did bet the Troy under, and I did take the Cardinals -6. I did take the Cardinals -6.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff there. Yeah, by the way, if someone mentioned the props, the Green Bay, like if you're going to take Packer receivers, you got to look Cobb and Scantling. Those are the guys that are going to have to be the guys, Valdez, Scantling, and Cobb tonight for the Green Bay Packers. Those are the guys that are going to have to get the job done for them with no Adams, no Lazard.
Isn't MBS out?
He was supposed to be in Big Show
out.
last night. He's out again. Wow.
Yeah,
so it's really thin. Yeah.
It's
crazy.
It's Tanyan Day, boys.
It's Tanyan then. Oh yeah, it's Tanyan the tight end.
Yeah.
You remember the 2 games last year that Devontae missed? Tanyan killed it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's going to be
100%.
not saying it's going to be the same production, but
yeah, it is.
I think we're going to see a lot of Aaron Jones tonight. I think
we're going to see a lot of play action.
Tanyan and Cobb, 100%. That's definitely. It was always going to be Cobb, one of the primary options without Adams. Now with MVS out, yeah, Tanyan's going to move up into getting a lot of targets tonight. There's no doubt about that.
The Hey Jose play of the day is Randall Cobb plus 150.
There you go.
Touchdown. There you go.
All right. Well, he's definitely got a better chance now. And Jones definitely, because they're going to rely on the run game tonight, Green Bay as well. All right, great stuff with Wham, with Dutch. We're going to get to best bets in just a second. 234 live viewers in the chat. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that if you haven't already. It definitely helps us out. We'll get to best bets in just a second, but first, we'll pause for messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke. Southtown 101, San Antonio. Manscaped promo code Pub Sports. 20% off your purchase using the promo code Pub Sports. Lawnmower 4.0 and any Manscaped product. Promo code Pub Sports. Get 20% off. And mybookie.ag. Promo code Pub Sports. Football season, lots left. NBA's underway. NHL's underway. College basketball starts in a couple weeks. Great time of year, all the sports at once. So sign up for an account at mybookie.ag. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit as well. Mybookie.ag, promo code Pub Sports. All right, it is time for best bets to wrap up this Thursday edition of the NBA Pub Hub. Dutch, we'll start with you. Freshest look, what do you got?
Yeah, man, freshest look. We're going to Philly. I'm hungry as a motherfucker. We getting that Philly cheesesteak. Extra bread, extra meat, double up on the protein. Give me that good bread. Going first half, -6. Sixers all day. Good money.
All right, Philadelphia, early and often. Sixers -6 first half.
Double up on that meat, baby.
Sixers -6. I like saying that. There you go. First half against the Detroit
Sounds
Pistons.
good.
Freshest look for Dutch. Wham, best bet. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go to this game that we're all going to be watching. It's going to be the New York Knicks Bulls game. I'm going to take the Evan Fournier over 2.5 3-point makes. I believe that this team will continue to be one of the most threes attempted, and this guy should get a good bulk of that with at least 6 or 7 in this game. I think Evan Fournier goes off today, at least get 4 in my opinion. He had 4 last game. Let's go back, run it back. Evan Fournier over 2.5 threes at -110.
All right, Evan Fournier over 2.5 3-pointers -110. Best bet for Wham. And I'm going to do 2 best bets. I mean, last night, Minnesota Timberwolves, what a great job by them outright against the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. Very, very pleased with that for the best bet yesterday. Let's see if we can keep the momentum going tonight. I'm going to give you 2 best bets, a side and a prop from the very same game. We're going to take San Antonio +6 against Dallas for best bet tonight. And the other best bet, because I think the price is just insanely value-laden, and this is to answer your question in the chat, Bill McDonald, who's the double-double guy for the Spurs? It's the other best bet that I'm going with in this game. It's Jakob Poeltl, double-double, +190. We're getting in on that. He had 27 and 14 against the Lakers. Mavericks don't have the front court girth that the Lakers do. I think this is a chance for Jakob Poeltl to have a huge night. I like the over points and rebounds as well for Poeltl. Johnson as well, but this is the value here. Double-double +190. Jakob Poeltl, San Antonio Spurs. We'll go with that, and we'll go with San Antonio +6 as well against Dallas. 2 best bets from yours truly right here on the NBA Pub Hub. All right, that'll wrap up the show. Thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. We appreciate it. 212 live viewers right now. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that on the way out if you haven't already. And we'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. It'll be me, Dutch, Wham, and Ski, as Dutch calls him, with us again tomorrow for the Friday NBA card. For Wham, for Dutch, this is Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Cash those tickets. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday back here on the NBA Pub Hub on Pub Sports Radio. Dutch, take us home.
Yeah, man. Salute to the chat. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't. Share the video if you can. You already know we're about to hit these motherfuckers straight over the head. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, and let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah.
We be pubbing.